Ohai. Qingdao, the city of sub-provincial value in China in the east of the province of Shandong, on the bank of the Yellow Sea. It consists of 6 areas and 4 cities. Is important military base. In the city, the Qingdao dialect of Qingdao Chinese is used. Qingdao was founded in 1891 BC. In the territory of the district there was an ancient city of Tsimo, even earlier, the culture of luncheon. In the 20th century of Qingdao underwent the German colonization and I endured the Japanese occupation. In 2016 Qingdao took the 12th place among the cities of China on DDD. 1 trillion yuans. Following the results of the same year I entered the top 10 of world ports for a turn in tons and containers. Here such large production companies as Hisense, Haier and Korea's Qingdao Sifeng are based. The city is fed by thermal, solar and wind power plants. The first power units of the NPP of Heian are started nearby. There is a developed network automobile and the railroads. Up to 350 km/h. The second airport calculated on 55 million passengers a year is completed. In the city the subway and the tram work. In February 1994 Qingdao was entered in the list of 15 main towns Eki. Qingdao is a cinema center of the country, an analog of Hollywood where shoot high-grossing films. Qingdao is located in the south of Shandong Peninsula on the bank of the Yellow Sea and 555 km to the southeast from Beijing. From the southeast the city is washed by the Yellow Sea. From the north borders on the city district of Yintao, from the west on the city district Weifang. In 40 km from the downtown there is a mountain of Lashan. Mr. Lading, 11:33 am. However, the plain in Qingdao prevails over Niskagori. Seaside zone of the state level. Its extent -25 km, width -3 km. Sea beaches of the city with fine sand are washed by warm waves of the Yellow Sea. Total length of the coastline reaches 817 km. In Qingdao there are 69 islands. The largest river is Qingdao, which length is 180 km. Climate in Qingdao damp monsoonal. Average annual temperature +12.4 C. It is stuffy in the summer, often there are rains, average temperature of August -25.3 C. In the winter strong wind, but it isn't really cold, average temperature in January 0.9 C. In the winter wind blows mainly from the continent, therefore the humidity falls, but it is less than in Beijing. The most pleasant time fall and spring. The average level of annual rainfall -720 mm. More than a half of the city district of Qingdao is covered with brown soils. Such soils are characteristic, for example, of the Mediterranean. They are important base for agriculture. The loamy chernisms occupying 176,900 hectares. The district spaces are widespread in northern areas. On coast of the rivers alluvial soils lie. City gardening slightly differs from Beijing. More humid and warm climate allowed to increase a share of coniferous trees and evergreen bushes. The cedar Himalaya is so usual, as well as on the Black Sea coast of Russia. Instead of pines of black and Chinese Thunberg's pine is used. In some areas the decorative grade Kazaca of a juniper Chinese meets, and the stately Caparisopadobny trees growing in the downtown belong to a sort Amatasequoia. Poplar, felt and Canadian here mostly are replaced with a plane tree and a white acacia. Fluffy friable congestions on streets are formed by a Sophora japanese. Narrow oblong leaves of Amalia azadara and an ailanthus of the highest diversify a green landscape which decoration were plantings of Alariodendron Chinese. Residents and tourists are pleased with the blossoming A. magnolia krupnitsvetkovi, a Coriateria panicled, by decorative grades of a peach and a Lagostria media Indian. Unpretentious evergreen bushes are involved in accurately cut green hedges. Photinia Fraseri, Unimus Japanese and Tobers pittosporum. Agriculture traditionally specializes in cultivation of fruit, vegetables and leguminous cultures. Scientists develop a new seed grade of rice, hoping to increase his production by tens of millions of tons. Modern warming of climate contributes to the development of tea growing. Laoshansky tea. The wild nature of Qingdao is isolated long ago by people from natural forests of other China. Natural vegetation is tired out on fruitless stony slopes. In National Park of Lashan rear guards, the receded beechen and evergreen subtropical forests were taken prisoner by an oak changeable and an oak pilchati. The oak changeable enters the Mediterranean section Ceres, and the oak pilchati is close to an oak Mongolian. Such drought-resistant types as enter into suite of an oak changeable. Pistachio Chinese, real, Vitex. Vitex Negundo. And poison ivy Chinese. Great satellites of an oak of the pilchati and disappeared beech. Neoshirakia japonica. Symplochus paniculata. And Storax Japanese. From East Asian subtropical forests remained unless Machilus thunbergii and A. camellia Japanese. The cold snap which happened several thousand years ago ruined evergreen oaks and in China of Qingdao Place in the region of the warm and moderate broad-leaved woods. Between the subtropical south, the Ashuris taiga, and steppes of the Inner Mongolia. In 2012 woodiness of the district increased up to 38.6%. Archaeological finds demonstrate that people lodged in the territory of the present city of Qingdao 60-100 years ago. During East Zhou Dynasty, 770-256 BB. The city of Tsimo. Nowadays this place is in the territory of the city county Pindus. Then by the second largest in Shandong was founded. Further, the area is repeatedly mentioned in various sources. So, exactly from here in 221 BB after reunification of China, the first emperor of the empire Qin Shi Huang, sent the ships to Korea and Japan. Fish, one of emperors of the empire of Han, made a ritual sacrifice on the mountain Butezi near modern Qingdao and disposed to build several temples. At the empires of Tan and Sun, these places were the place of joining of sea routes of northern and southern China. At the Empire of Yuan, these places became the southernmost tip of the Zhaichu-Lakowski Channel dike through the basis of Shandong Peninsula. At the Empire of Min, these places were the important naval base carrying the name Jiao. In the 1890th years, the Empire of Qing decided to create the military strengthening protecting from the attacks from the sea on this place. On June 14, 1891, the city of Qingdao was founded, however his construction progressed quite slow rates. In 1897, the city as a part of the territory, Gulf Jiaozu, on concession was transferred to Germany. Its so-called incident in Taipei, when in 1897 two German missionaries were killed in East Shandong, was a pretext to transfer, and the German government exposed the ultimatum to the emperor, demanding protection of Christians. Germans turned Qingdao into strategically important port managed by sea management. German of Reichsmariniert. Unlike other German colonies submitting to management of colonies. In Qingdao, the German Imperial East Asian Cruiser Squadron performing the military operations across all Pacific Ocean was based. Since 1898, the 3rd Sea Battalion was based here. The German government carried out planning of streets and created the city plan existing and now. At this time also the brewery, English Qingdao Brewery, functioning to this day and producing 12% of all Chinese beer, was constructed. The German influence extended to all province of Shandong, in which there were many enterprises with the German capital. Before World War I, the German fighting ships under command of the Admiral von Spee left Qingdao to reach Germany and to avoid danger of blocking them in the harbor the navies of the Entente. After the beginning of war in 1914, the Japanese fleet, with some participation of British, blocked Qingdao. Allies declared war of Germany according to the Anglo-Japanese contract. The Japanese troops besieged Qingdao and from October 31 to November 7, 1914 storm seized them. Following the results of war at the Parisian Conference, it was decided to leave the occupied territories in the province of Shandong of Japan and not to transfer them to China. That caused a turmoil. In 1922, the city nevertheless was returned to the Chinese authorities. After formation of the Kuomintang government in Nanjing in 1929, the special city of Qingdao was formed. In 1930, transformed to the ordinary city. Japan occupied Qingdao in January 1938 during territorial expansion along the Chinese coast as a result of joint operation of the Japanese Army and divisions of Marines again. After World War II, of Qingdao received the status of the special city again, and the Kuomintang authorities allowed the USA to use Qingdao as base of the Western Pacific Fleet. However, on June 2, 1949, the city was occupied by communistic troops. The latest of the large cities of northern China. In 1949, the city was divided into 7 areas. In 1951, some territories of the special region of Jiaozu, in which the Laoshansky suburb was formed, were attached to the city, and 4 urban areas were disbanded. In 1958, under jurisdiction of Qingdao, passed counties of Jiaoxian and Jianan from structure of the special region of Qianwei, and the county of Tsima from structure of the special region of Layan. In 1961 the county of Sima was transferred to structure of the district of Qingdao. And counties of Jiangxi and Jianan are returned in structure of the district of Qingdao. The Laoshansky suburb was transformed to the county of Laoshan. In 1978 the county of Tsimo from structure of the district Yantai and counties of Jiangxi and Jianan from structure of the district of Qingdao were transferred under jurisdiction of Qingdao Dane. In 1983 under jurisdiction of Qingdao passed the county Lacey from structure of the district Yantai and county Pindas from structure of the district Weifang. Since 1984 China began to pursue open policy in relation to foreign investments. As a result of Qingdao quickly enough I turned into the modern seaport. On November 5, 1984 3 ships of US Navy for the first time after 1949 visited Qingdao. It was the first calling of warships of the USA to Chinese port after a long break. In 1987 the county of Jiangxi was transformed to city the county of Jiaozhou. In 1988 the county of Laoshan was transformed to the area of city submission. In 1989 counties Pindas and Sima were transformed to city counties. In 1990 counties of Jianan and Lacey were also transformed to city counties. In 2012 the city county of Jianan was attached to the region of Qingdao. Now Qingdao represents the large industrial center. Recently the new business center of the city to the east from the old business area was built. Outside the center the big industrial zone including the enterprises of chemical industry and heavy mechanical engineering and also the knowledge-intensive industries is located. The city county of Tsimo was transformed by the resolution of the State Council of the People's Republic of China of July 18, 2017. Came into force since October 30, 2017. To the area of city submission. Qingdao is a large economic center of China. Here representative offices of banks, production capacities of many large companies and representative office of many international firms are located. In 2016 Qingdao took the 12th place among the cities of China on DDD. 1.001 trillion yuans. With annual growth rate of 7.9%. The regional city economy of Qingdao leans on the large-scale state enterprises, such as Haya Corporation, the Hisense Company, Tobacco Corporation Aichun, ICMA Corporation, the Qingdao Shoe Corporation, Two Stars, Qingdao Beer Corporation and other enterprises of big scale which revenues is 50% of all income of economy of Qingdao. Unlike public industries, private enterprises aren't really developed here. The industrial zone of development of high technologies of Qingdao is located in east part of the city, near Laoshan, and occupies the space in 67 km. Such parts how the industrial region of 9.8 km are its part. Center of the higher education, research center, tourist area and housing area. The center of development of science and technologies and also seaport submits to a zone. The main industries in a zone are such as biotechnology, electronic information, optometricity integration, household appliances, new materials and new power. There are more than 66 types and kinds of mineral resources, including graphite, fluorite, zeolite, heavy spar and gold, and also 1400 types of agricultural and livestock products, including Laoshansky dairy goats, Lachansky black pigs, honey peaches and Datsashansky grapes. In industrial city economy of Qingdao, the main share is occupied by such industries as electronic, machine building, chemical, oil and rubber bearing, food processing and production of drinks, the household equipment, textile, production of drugs, construction materials, metallurgical, the industry of sea products. Since submission of Germany of Qingdao is one of the main centers of production of beer. Qingdao is one of 5 biggest foreign trade ports of China. In 2016 he passed 444 million tons of freights and 18 million too. The most part of goods turnover of port is the share of the container Qianwan terminal. The largest corporations of Qingdao. Hair Company headquarters. Hair household electrical equipment. Hisense household electrical equipment. Paris Group high-speed and regular trains, suburban electric trains, cars of the subway and trams on hydrogen fuel elements. Fujifang trucks. Qingdao Brewery beer. Qingdao Port Group Logistics. Sinopec Qingdao Refining and Chemical Petrochemistry. Sinopec Qingdao Petrochemical Petrochemistry. Qingdao Hyundai Shipbuilding. Qingdao Baihai Shipbuilding Heavy Industry Shipbuilding. Soar Automotive Group Cars and Buses. Kren Machinery Automobile Accessories. Synergy the gas equipment. Sepco 3 the power equipment. Qingdao Highly Helicopters Epiphone guitars. The basis of power supply system of the city is made by thermal power plant, coal, gas, and the NPP of Hay, in which first power units are already started. The NPP is in the next Yantai, near border with Qingdao. Climatic resources are used by several solar and wind power plants. The local companies arranged production of the key equipment for them. The important center of foreign trade is the pilot zone of regional trade and economic cooperation China (CHAS). In the first half of 2021, the volume of foreign trade of Qingdao was 397.52 billion yuan, about $61.33 billion, having increased by 39.6% in comparison with the same period of last year. For the first 6 months 2021, the total amount of cross-border electronic trading of Qingdao exceeded 10 billion yuan, about $1.54 billion. City transport is presented by a large number of routes of city buses. It is a lot of taxi cars. In December 2015, the subway of Qingdao is open. Construction will be conducted in several stages. The first stage of the subway will have 54.7 km long. The general extent of 8 planned lines will be 231.5 km. At the end of June 2009, the delegation from Qingdao headed by his mayor visited St. Petersburg.
The parties agreed about mutual cooperation within which Chinese suggested to construct 5-star hotel and the plant on production of household appliances in street
Petersburg and Russians in turn can help Qingdao with construction of the subway. Metrostrovets of the northern capital will participate in construction of the subway. At the beginning of 2011, the 4 years construction of the 42-kilometer bridge connecting Qingdao to the suburb of Huangdao through a northern part of the Gulf Jiaozu was completed. Qingdao has well-developed transport system with network of the railroads and high-speed highways. On August 12, 2021 in Qingdao, the new international airport, Qingdao, officially opened, and the old airport, Liutin, was closed. Qingdao is under control of the Qingdao Airport Group company operator. The complex of the first stage of the new airport occupies the space of 16.25 square km. 36.04 billion yuans. About $56 billion were in total spent for his construction. For convenience of passengers, the line of the subway and the high-speed railroad are brought to terminals. By 2025, the airport will be able annually to serve 35 million passengers, to process 500,000 tons of freights, to carry out 300,000 takes-off and landing of aircrafts. The railway station of Qingdao is built in the European style. The terminal station is only the blue smooth surface of the sea stretches further. It was reconstructed to the Olympic Games of 2008. In Qingdao also there took place some competitions. From here high-speed trains go to Beijing. 3-4 hours. And Shanghai, and also to the provincial capital of Jinan and other cities of the province of Shandong. Qingdao is connected to Jinan 2 new high-speed lines at once. The last has the design speed of 350 km/h. On it the trains Kia Afo Fusion which are developed will go to Beijing and are produced in Qingdao serially. One more recently constructed road conducts to the city of Lianyanggang. Her high-speed characteristics are more modest, to 200 km/h. The freight transportation connecting port with the cities of Central Asia and Western Europe is important.
In the first half of the year 2021 from Qingdao 297 trains were sent to Europe and Central Asia in total, that is 82% more in comparison with the same period of 2020.
The value of freight transportation from Qingdao to Laos and Vietnam grows. The port of Qingdao is included into 10 the largest container ports of the world. The oil terminal accepting crude oil from Cosmino is important. Also in port there is an oil Sinopec Group terminal. Culture. Qingdao is one of the cinema centers of the country, the Chinese ancestor in this area. The first movie made here was issued in 1898. The large film industrial complex including Qingdao Oriental Movie Metropolis and Lingshan Bay Film Television Cultural Industrial Park is so far created. The seaside city became a new platform for shootings of high-grossing films. Movies, The Wandering Earth and Great Wall were commercially successful and rather known outside China.
Local studios took part also in creation of other movies, for example the Godzilla 2.
King of Monsters. For support of the film industry, subsidies and tax benefits are entered. Beside studios, the multiplex movie theater on 50 places is open. Sites and tourism. Former residence of the German governor of Qingdao. The largest skyscrapers of Qingdao. 72-story tower. 369 meters. 56-story tower. 245 meters. 42-story tower. 210 meters. 74-story Qingdao Landmark Tower. 327 meters. 54-story International Financial Center of Qingdao. 249 meters. 49-story Parks and Plaza. 220 meters. The largest hotels of Qingdao. 38-story Holiday Inn of Qingdao. 198 meters. 38-story Crown Plaza. 175 meters. 33-story Kiln. 146 meters. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.